Along the border with Ukraine, shown in these satellite photos, the number of Russian troops and military equipment grows. The buildup is alarming to U.S. intelligence agencies that say the force could grow to more than 175,000 troops, and that Russia could be planning a massive military invasion of Ukraine that could come sometime in early 2022. The stakes couldn't be higher, according to Ukraine's foreign minister.
If Russia resorts to a military operation against Ukraine, that will be the biggest loss, the biggest failure of Euro-Atlantic diplomacy.
This is why Putin and Biden had their video conference.
Good to see you again.
Приветствую вас, господин президент.
It's why Biden is trying to solidify support among allies.
At Vladimir Putin's request, the two men spoke again at the end of 2021. Putin warning President Biden that any new sanctions would lead to a complete rupture of relations between Moscow and Washington, and Biden reiterating that there would be a heavy price to pay if Russia invades Ukraine again. The Biden-Putin calls came ahead of meetings with senior U.S. and Russian officials in Geneva in early January. So why is President Putin rattling his saber so aggressively?
One goal of his might be to actually get security guarantees from the West and the United States, such as don't position certain missiles and munitions in Ukraine.
Ukraine also wants to become a member of NATO, and Putin wants to stop that from happening. There is also a sense in Moscow that Kiev has turned its back on Russia.
At some deeper level, and I think that includes President Putin, former President Medvedev, and many others, Ukraine is part of the Russian world, and it's always been part of the Russian world, and will always be part of the Russian world. Whoever turns Ukraine against Russia is an enemy not only of the Russian people, but of the Ukrainian people as well.
Putin sees his task as returning Ukraine to the Russian fold. And this idea that Russia is saving Ukraine from an anti-Russian government in Kiev could be all the justification Putin needs to send in his military. But leaders in Moscow are denying an invasion plan and instead accuse the West of threatening Russia by pushing weapons and troops ever closer to its borders.
Well, I think that the international community has every reason to be worried about the entire situation.
In 2014, Russia annexed Crimea while supporting separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine. Since then, more than 14,000 people have been killed, and today, sporadic fighting still occurs along the front lines. These residents of Kiev are taking the troop buildup in stride.
На таку дикість піти, щоб уже просто як агресію активно виказувати, мені здається, до цього не дійде. Так хотілося б сподіватись на краще. Ні, мені здається, не дойде до гарячої фази.
Мінімум це бряцкання зброєю, а що там максимум може, це тільки знає Путін. Нам це теж не доносять. І
поки що це просто така пасивна фаза залякування один одного, і все.
If Russia invades Ukraine, it is highly unlikely that troops from other countries would be sent in.
And Putin knows that. Putin will be met by a more capable and formidable military in Ukraine than he encountered in 2014.
President Biden is promising that Russia will face crushing sanctions.
He'll pay a terrible price.
The most significant thing that the Biden administration could push to do would be to kick Russia off of a system known as SWIFT. To kick Russia off from that would effectively be to isolate it from the global financial system. The Russians have warned strongly against doing that. They would see that, I think, as a very aggressive act.
On this day in Kiev, captured Russian military hardware is a reminder of the recent fighting in Eastern Europe.